lot of Skaven slaves. Some of the ROR units of the clan rats, and then a lot of those blasty boys. 2 units of Giselles, 2 units of rattling gunners, and once again that hell pit abomination. And I'll tell you what, there's a very good chance that we see some large units, some monsters here out of the Vampire Coast. They've got those rotting Prometheans, they've got the Necrofex Colossus, which means that Hell Pit Abomination might have some very good targets for itself here in this fight. But first, I'm really interested to see what it is, the composition that Arcanesboon has gone with here, as we could not see that at the other screen, unfortunately. So we'll have to take a look as soon as we load in. On to Prague. I don't think I've seen this map either, so we'll also get a little bit of a look at the terrain there. It looks pretty normal. Pretty standard. And let's see. Are those Mournguls? Yeah. So 2 units of Mournguls. What are these guys? Cannons? I think they're cannons. Yeah, a lot of cannons. So a lot of anti-large here. Obviously, we have Noctilus. He's the spellcaster. A lot of units, a lot of zombies. Just regular old zombies. Some sirens. Some gunnery mobs. And then those Mournguls. So no depth guard, no elite infantry here for our Vampire Counts player. Gonna be relying on numbers, monsters, and artillery. Yeah, numbers actually almost exactly even, as we can see. Both of these factions capable of putting out a lot of units onto the field here. The Vulcan Tail Slashers. Now that's a badass name. Did you just kick him? That's hilarious. You just kicked the shit out of him. Block Giselles. Such a cool unit. And here we go. Giselles immediately starting to get some shots off onto the deckhands. These Mournguls are really far out on the flank here. And let's see what targets these cannons go for. Okay, looks like they're using that range superiority to go for the Death Dealers. Not a bad target at all. Looks like a lot of damage getting done here to this gunnery mob, that we do have Invocation of Nehecht, trying to keep it up. And here we go. Arcanesboon is the guy going into his opponent here. We got many lines of Skaven here that he's going to have to bust through. He's going to start blasting these guys. Clan Rats with the shields is going to help him against the guns there, but not too much. And here comes the Hell Pit Abomination. And it's going to start to get focused down, actually. Over here, we see that the Giselles are still kind of firing into infantry, getting themselves a goodly bit of damage done. There's another Invocation. And a lightning spell there from Ren. There's another spell as well going off, and he's starting to shatter this army. Looks like we're going to have a breath attack as well. So much magical damage coming out. Actually hit some of his own troops a little bit, but still worth it there. But again, remember that we do have more zombies over here in these cannons that are still up. If they can get some juicy shots off here, they could start racking up the kills. They're actually breaking the Hell Pit Abomination, which they're anti-large, so that makes sense. More magic coming down. And I think this is looking good for the Skaven. I mean, on most of these flanks, he's held. Now, here is a big deal. Okay, the Mourngulls are coming in. It took them a while to get here, but they're here now, and they are going to absolutely rip these units apart. Combined with that, the Fear and Terror. They have a lot to offer here. If they can get into these Skaven slaves, they will break them very quickly. Ren's trying to get units in between his valuable Jezzails and the Mourngulls, but those Skaven slaves, look, just get shattered right away. Or broken, not shattered. But the zombies are starting to break across the map. This looks like a comet that lands onto Ikit, but he drops some lightning down as well. Again, getting magical damage done on this Sirens could be really good for him. Oh, the Rattling Gunners absolutely shredding the infantry on the other side, getting in tons of damage. And it looks like the Mourngulls are... I mean, they're doing good, but it looks like Ren's plan to bog them up with other units so that he can keep his weapons teams alive is working really well here. I mean, the Jezzails are firing into them, and it's just been like Skaven slaves and this Hell Pit Abomination fighting them. This Hell Pit Abomination definitely wants to fight Mourngulls. It will dish out a lot of damage to them. Oh. Jeez. Shredding. Now these cannons are about to be attacked. Not my fault. And here go the gunnery mob. Yeah, I mean, this seems like it's coming up really well for Renegade all around here. I mean, this Hell Pit Abomination with regeneration, doing real well. There's its ability. Too Horrible to Die gets a big healing boost, meaning it's going to beat these Mourngulls. It will win. It's effectively a rebirth for the High Elves. Now the weapons team's turning their fire on to the other Mourngulls, which will get cleared out. They are going to start to crumble. Noctilus is still at full health. And it looks like he's trying to goon down Ikit Claw, but Ikit is just going to book it and let his Rattling Gunners put in so much damage. Look how fast that HP goes down there for Noctilus, who's suddenly broken. At this point, Ikit can probably turn on him and fight him. It'd be a risk, but he could. He's just going to have to... Nope, he's just going to break. That's going to be game number 1 for Renegade. Taking a victory over Arcanesboon, using his Skaven, clearly a faction he likes. Ikit Claw, not surprising. Seen him pull that out twice now. But it looks like it's going to be Dwarves versus Empire here. We saw Mr. GT Kung using Empire quite effectively against Renegade earlier in their match. But obviously Empire is one of the benefits is they're a very flexible faction. You can kind of play them how you want to. Dwarves, another good faction, I would argue, don't quite have the flexibility of the Empire without having magic and without having cavalry, but of course they do have their own strengths. That infantry, very, very strong, sticks around a long time. And of course, organ guns. Looks like it's going to be Karl Franz here for Arcanesboon. Bright Wizards, that is Lore of Fire. But again, remembering that dwarves all have a natural resistance to fire. So, yeah. So some Longbeards with great weapons. Again, those are armor-piercing. A unit of Slayers for anything large. Some Iron Drakes. And a heck of a lot of artillery. So definitely a defensive army here from Renegade. A Witch Hunter as well. Armor-piercing missiles and Duelist, so kind of a specialist at fighting other characters here. Like it, like it. But we've yet to see what's going to kind of fill in the gaps here for Arcanesboon. Karl Franz at 2,000 cost, probably going to be on his Death Claw. Which is good. Whenever you know you have like the flying advantage, right? Because it's not like outside of gyrocopters, which kind of suck, at least against other flying units. There's really a risk of having flying units, so he should be fine there. And that will allow Karl Franz to get around the battlefield a lot easier. Swordsman, Spearman, so a pretty cheap front line, leaving him a lot of room to play with. It's a big front line, though. Again, looking at like, you get almost 2 units of swordsman for each of these, really, really, really strong frontliners that Ren's got. Okay, so he takes out the Witch Hunter, and we're gonna have to see how he feels. Again, we've got like the standard array. We're missing all the fun parts, I think, of this army, except for these two, obviously. But this is like the meat and potatoes of the army. We have to see what fun things he fills this out with, and there we go. Now, I gotta say, I question this. Maybe it's for anti-artillery. That might be it. But cannons against a faction that can't field large units? The only thing that I can think of is he's getting them for anti-artillery. That would make sense. Really like this choice. Handgunners have armor-piercing missiles. Dwarves have tons and tons of armor. Grumbrindle, 120 armor. Gonna be really resistant to like quarrelers or something like that, but those handgunners will shred them down. Still, though, I mean, so cannons would still get their anti-large bonus against grudge throwers, right? I don't actually know, because they kind of fire at like the troops that man them, which are not large. But the siege equipment itself is large. So I'm actually not sure there. I could see it going either way. I mean, like I said, obviously a grudge thrower is really big, but when you fire it in an artillery unit, you're shooting typically like the guys manning it. So I actually don't know if they classify those as large or not. Somebody asked GT Kung, he probably knows. Looks like both players are ready, so we're going to get started. 2 units of Empire Knights being what was added in as well. Those organ guns, I don't think I've seen them in use that often. I'm pretty sure they're anti-infantry machine guns. I mean, that's what an organ gun in real life would do. Like, it's kind of like a machine gun, I'm pretty sure. Not that people are really using organ guns anymore, but... Let's see, these trees again could provide any amount of cover here. Empire Knights look cool. Look at those horsey boys. The handgunners as well. I don't know. I don't know which way this is going to go. The Bright Wizard. He looks cool. He looks a little crazy, but he looks cool. Hammer of the Witches. That is cool. That's a cool name. All right. Let's see. It looks like a pretty standard front line here for Arcanesboon. And not shockingly... Oh, I forgot to set it to 20 minutes. Whoops. Well, hopefully it won't be an issue.
So-called empire is nothing to the Karazhan Corps.
It's nothing to the Karazhan Corps, dude. Karazhan Corps don't give a fuck. But here we go. Opening shots are going off. Or trying to on the cannons, which actually I think are receiving the benefits being in the woods a little bit there. And it must, or yeah, because he goes right to targeting the artillery. So it must be that they get the bonus against artillery. Because the artillery is starting to trade, but it actually looks like it might even be going better for the non-anti-large grudge throwers, just because there are 2 of them to that 1 cannon right there. Ooh, that shot misses too. Here we go. Gotta keep an eye on those organ guns. That's a lot of armor-piercing missile strength. Okay, oh, there they go. First shot comes out, kills a bunch of Empire soldiers. There is Karl Franz on Deathclaw, flying overhead, looking for a good place to land. Might be on those Iron Drakes. So let's see. First shot of the Iron Drakes. It's a good hit. It's a good hit. It's a very good hit. But here's the collapse. He's not going to get more than 1 hit in. He might get a second. Yep, he's going to get a second shot off before everything engages. So that's good. And again, remember, this infantry is just flatly better here for the dwarves. It is just kind of better. Now, there is a line for a Burning Skull here. And even if you resist magic, which they do, they don't negate it. They make it a little bit less good. And here comes Karl Franz. He's going to get into the back of these Longbeards. But again, these things are not going to really crumble very quickly. Old Grumblers, really high leadership in this front line means it's going to stick around for a long, long time. Here comes the Bright Wizard. I don't think it's really dropped many spells into the fray just yet. Well, there we go. Here we go. This is what he needed. Oh, even with that resist magic, look at that. That's a line. That front line of Renegade just got hit hard. Really hard. 2 units break after that. What a spell there. Talk about a game-changing use of magic there. As that didn't win him the front line just yet, but it certainly helped.
Do not shame your ancestors.
Now it looks like overall they're still going to win.
A dark day.
Now these Empire Knights are getting into... Ooh, they're actually fighting Slayers in the background, which is good for the Slayers. Grombrindle is actually protecting his artillery, but again, the Empire Knights being on this means they're not firing. This is still pretty close. I mean, there's a lot of armor-piercing damage left in play here via these handgunners. And Karl Franz is still alive on Deathclaw. But Grombrindle's at full health here, man. Looks like these Empire Knights are going to flee. They've shut down about half of the artillery. Where's the rest of the cannons? They're still up. They should still be shooting. But so are these grudge throwers actually, so I don't know. I think that the dwarves are holding here. They're holding well enough. There's still this big clump of units. And even more, there's just so many units here for the dwarves. And I don't know if there's really the damage left in this Empire army to deal with it unless... Oh, unless... Another burning head goes down. Another charge from Karl Franz, and now this group of infantry is really, really low on HP. These Longbeards getting hit as well. Here come the Empire Knights. They rallied, and they're going to start smashing the artillery. Arcanesboon, again, now is playing for his tournament life. He needs to win this map, this battle, and he's maybe starting to do that. These Empire Knights coming back and shutting down the artillery is really, really important. Stopping those grudge throwers from throwing their grudges. Grombrindle's going to come back, but he should still be able to retreat with the Empire Knights. Karl Franz has just been kicking ass in melee for a long time here, but he is starting to feel the wear and tear of battle. And remember, Grombrindle is at full HP and is an absolute beast of a unit. So, Iron Drakes get a critical shot off on those handgunners, dealing so much damage. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think Ren's done it. I think he has. He's just got so many units, and with the dwarves' high leadership, I mean, that's a shattered wizard. He's not coming back. I like these backline charges, but I just don't think it's enough, man. Karl Franz is too low. Grombrindle hasn't taken damage yet. And there's so much infantry that's going to go shut down these cannons now. Everything is starting to rout here for Empire. Even some of this artillery coming back online. Both the grudge throwers, one of the organ guns. Grombrindle's going to chase off the Empire Knights. Griffin's going to escape. But every moment that goes by is, I mean, just the leadership. It's too much. He's going to get out with Karl. And he's still getting into the backline with the Empire Knights. That's good, but... most of these units are either shattered or are like one break away from shattering. And look at the Longbeards. Like, they're not unbreakable, but like, are they though? And here we go. Some of this infantry has swung around to re-secure his flank here, not let these Empire Knights continue to bounce around and get damage done. I really liked the defensive use of Grombrindle here in this match. He didn't yeet him in overly aggressively. He's kept him in the back, used him to kind of stay alive and ward off the stuff from the artillery.
Kill him. We do not wait.
Well, okay, so that's the Iron Drakes. They're screwed. And some of the units are coming back here. Okay, so he stops them from getting at his artillery. Not a ton of shots left here in these great cannons, though. These Empire Knights are going to charge. Oh, ow, that's a painful charge.
Our clans will shun us.
And he's going to kill that unit. Carl. Oof. Is that the last Iron Drake? It is. He's the last Iron Drake, dude. He's got 19 HP. What's he going to do? He's like, ah! He died a hero's death. As Deathclaw takes him out. Here comes the reforming. Oof. Of these armor-piercing missiles, which is good. And, I mean, that really durable front line that Ren has is starting to get worn down really hard. But again, the problem of the day is the White Dwarf Grombrindle and all of his armor-piercing, melee expert, smashy greatness is alive and at full HP. And Karl Franz is not looking too good. And while Grombrindle's around, I would be really shocked if he's able to break the leadership, considering a lot of these are old Grumblers as well, which is the trait that gives them even more leadership, and I think a bonus to leadership of those things around him. Arcanesboon, he's still in this, but he needs a lot to go his way here. He needs a lot to go his way. The organ gun's still getting shots off onto the handgunners.
The guilds want them dead. Run! So many grudges that need satisfaction here. Do not shame your ancestors.
Do not shame your ancestors, say the dwarves. This ragtag group of empire. All that's left, a great defensive setup here for Ren. And while the cannons are still firing, I don't think that Arcanesboon can afford to sit here and take shots.
Dark day. Swing your axes through their shoddy armor.
Swing your axes through their shoddy armor. Look at the leadership here on all these units. Even the slightest bit of damage will cause them to break. Now the grudge throwers do look like they're out of ammo. In fact, all of his artillery looks like it's out of ammo. But again, remember, there's still units coming in from downtown.
Run!
Oof.
A dark day. There can be no mercy. Our clans will shun us. None but the Dowie are worthy.
Yeah, this is tight. But again, How do you deal with Grumbrindle, man? How do you deal with Grumbrindle? I don't know. I don't think you can.
Do not shame your ancestors.
That's going to be a route on those Longbeards. That's nice. I like how he's using the
Run!
fear and terror on Carl Friends.
Flee!
But again, it's so hard to break them. Look at that. They're like dead. They're experiencing fear, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be GG.